Are you scared by what's been happening in Bitcoin, Ethereum over the last couple of days? We've seen Bitcoin taking a huge dump towards the downside. Is it going to continue further? I think so. And we're going to look at some crazy news that's happening with Binance that has me, along with everyone else, extremely worried. But I'm also going to show you all this crypto news and what it really means for us as potential investors. Jumping across to Bitcoin, guys. The reason I tell you that if you are getting scared about things like this happening, then you probably shouldn't be in the game. And if you are in the game, then you shouldn't be using the amount of money that you're potentially going to get worried about, especially in a market like right now. When you get into the bull market, you can get lucky. And the reason you're feeling fearful isn't necessarily just because of your personality, but more than likely is because you're using more money than you can afford to really lose. And that's understandable, guys, because obviously we want to get rich, we want to make lots of money. But the best game you can play within crypto is to be able to comfortably buy bottoms with smaller amounts of money, and then you can leverage into your positions as it starts to grow over time. And before we dive into the crypto charts, guys, I want to look at this piece of news because this is very key to what's happening in crypto right now. Even if you don't really understand many of the things that have happened in crypto in the last few weeks with FTX going under, then hopefully you'll understand this. Binance, being the biggest and pretty much the only major player left in the crypto markets, is now starting to look a little bit sketchy as well, whether or not they've actually got the assets that people have put onto the platform there to give back to people. For example, if everyone went to the Binance platform now and started to try and withdraw their money, would that cause Binance to go under like it did FTX? And if so, what does that mean for crypto in general? Well, at the moment we can see CZ is saying that he won't rescue Binance by selling out crypto self-custody. Okay, so basically what's happening right now is tons of people are withdrawing money from Binance, which ultimately will weaken Binance's position. But they've been lending out money, they've been investing in other assets like risky crypto assets, and people who've been putting lots of money into the platform might then start to withdraw it to put it to custodial wallets, etc. Potentially could cause the same thing as happened to FTX. Now you'd hope it would be run slightly better than FTX, but FTX was not the first of a number of crypto companies that have gone under this year. Companies like Celsius, BlockFi, etc. If Binance goes under, guys, it's pretty much, in my opinion, almost the end of the crypto market. I have to go and find something else to do rather than make videos on crypto, but that would decimate the markets almost beyond repair. Why is that so positive? Well, I don't necessarily believe that Binance is going to go under. Still pretty confident that there's a bit of honesty left in the world, and Binance is going to be able to save itself. And if we look at this, which is so important, and you should pay attention to this, this is the Wall Street cheat sheet. I talk about it a lot on this channel. If you're bored of me talking about it, then sorry about that. But this basically shows us that each area of a market cycle. So we have market cycles. Each time it goes up, it comes down, it goes up over a period of time, guys. And what we get at each area of the market is a different sentiment from the people who are trading within that market. You, me being people who are trading within that market, how you're feeling right now compared to how you were feeling this time last year when Bitcoin, etc. was at 70,000 is probably extremely different. And the reason for that is because of the price movement. But the price movement then has an effect on our emotions, and it has an effect on how we interact with the market. The people who are making lots of money in these markets and are moving the prices ultimately understand the emotions that we are feeling at certain areas of the market, and therefore they can manipulate how we feel in order to make the most money. Now, right now, I'd say that we probably passed the denial and panic and possibly even past capitulation in towards the sort of anger, maybe even into the depression phase, which comes after anger. You would argue that maybe we're now starting to approach a new market cycle. Once you get this huge crazy fear, and I am feeling pretty scared right now because of things like Binance and stuff, even though I know better because I've seen these cycles over and over again, this still is very difficult. This is why it's very hard for us to go and buy crypto right now, when actually at the top we feel great buying crypto, even though that's why we get wrecked. But it's that same market psychology when we look into a Bitcoin chart that we should also be very cautious of. Now, what you can see, obviously we had this dip down towards the downside. Everyone was like, oh, you know, FTX was the worst that we could have had. And now we started to build, everyone starts to build confidence again. Everyone starts to feel more relieved and feels that we're going to eventually rally out of this. Now, that can possibly happen, right? I'm not saying it can't. Eventually, whenever it does break this white line, we are going to be into a bull market, in my opinion. However, whether that happens right now, I would be very shocked. The reason for me being shocked about this is what really has been causing the decline of the crypto market is the increase in the value of the US dollar, which has been happening because the interest rates are going up, which makes it valuable, which makes it a better place to invest. It also makes other places more risky to invest. So what that really means is if the interest rates continue to rally up higher, then crypto has no reason to be breaking out higher because the situation has not changed. But a couple of days ago, the Fed announced that interest rates were going to carry on growing indefinitely. So what does that mean for us? Well, that doesn't mean that it's about to turn around and we're going to start to see a weakening dollar. It tells us that the US dollar could well continue to grow and continue to be strong. And if interest rates are high, people are not going to be borrowing lots of money to invest into crypto, particularly with this sort of news and things cycling around. But there is a price at which people will see crypto as good value. Right now, crypto probably not good value because of its risk level in the eyes of the big money. But what we can see right now is very interesting. So what have we got here to pay attention to? This rising channel pattern, very clear to see, broke out. Now, obviously, it has the potential to be able to go back inside, but potentially we would actually see a price target for this, which would exist down towards these levels. I want you to imagine the situation. If crypto starts to creep down, the turning of the screw on companies like Binance, etc., is going to get worse. There'll be more knock-on effect, more news coming out. We'll see other crypto companies going under. And what this would cause is something that we still need because we haven't seen it. And I'm talking about something like this. If you look at what happened recently, if you look what happened back in November, the start of November, when we crept down towards this area, we didn't really push down that aggressively. This little wick doesn't really indicate a great deal of buying pressure soaking up. What we really need to see is something like this occur, where you get like a drop down and it happens very, very quickly. I'm not saying it's going to go to anywhere in particular, I don't know. I feel like potentially you could see it drop to like 11 grand, and it could happen in the space of an hour, maybe even less, but it will get bought up so aggressively quick that for me is what is going to signal the end of the bear market. A spike like that would then see us creeping out towards here, and probably early on next year we'll see us being able to break beyond here, pushing up towards these levels, where we'll probably then see some sort of retest and then a continuation. But guys, in the grand scheme of things, if you are interested in making money in crypto, then you shouldn't be necessarily looking to do this in the short term. If you can see a potential where you could see a Bitcoin hitting 280 grand in 2025, or maybe even $1 million in 2030, there's nothing to say that that's not possible. So if you have a chance at maybe hitting $1 million in 2030, wouldn't it be not a bad investment to buying it at 16 grand? I'm not saying you've got to buy a whole one, but if you bought 0.1 and you could turn $1.6 thousand into $100,000 by owning 10% of a Bitcoin for the next 8 years, probably be a good shout. Now, that's not financial advice, of course. Go away and do your own research. What I'm saying is right now, there's a lot of fear in the market. It is very, very difficult to see past the fear. I get that. Obviously, guys, I feel the fear of what's going on in the news. You see stuff like that, but really, most of it's just smoke and mirrors. And the reason I know it's smoke and mirrors, guys, is investment banks like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs were telling us when we were sat about here that Bitcoin was going to go to 300k. They said about here that it was going to go to 150k. And look what happened literally the next day. The reason they say things like that is because they wanted you to buy the market, because they want to sell. If you want to sell here, you need someone to buy it from you. And the same down here. If you want to buy something down here, then you need someone to sell it to you. And you need to keep it down there as long as possible because it's easier for you to fill all the orders at the correct price that you want to do it, because if you do it too fast, it ramps the price up and you can't buy it at nice discount prices anymore. So potentially, guys, we could see a bit more fear unfolding, a further dump towards the downside, but I do believe that we are around the bottom. If you were say to go down to 12k, that's a 30% drop. So yeah, if you put in $1,000, you'll lose 300 if you were to sell it, but I'm pretty sure that if that happens, it's going to come up very, very fast again. And your upside back to all-time highs is 300%. Basically, you're saying, would you risk $300 to make $3,000 if you're starting with an original $1,000? Personally, that works for me. Up to you guys. I don't always upload videos onto YouTube, but I do pretty much create daily content in my Telegram group, which is free and it's linked down below in the description, so make sure you go and check that out. If you want to trade markets when they're going up and down, then you can get a bonus and trade for free by going across to the link down below in the description for Fairdesk, where you can get up to $600 in deposit bonus. You can then use that bonus to trade on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, etc. And you can use leverage, guys, which means that you don't have to have much money in the first place to be able to potentially see some great returns. Obviously, trading is risky, so it's only for experienced traders, really. Here you can see they still have a competition for $600,000 to predict the World Cup outcome. That's going to finish in just a couple of days, so don't miss out on that. And as well as that, if you don't know anything about trading, you can copy an experienced trader, and then you can make money from their trades when they profit automatically. Absolute no-brainer. Guys, if you enjoyed that video, then make sure you smash that thumbs up button for me. Thank you so much. And if you're new to the channel, guys, hit that subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.